right, welcome everybody to the Mancini Report. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Mancini. We got him for 15, maybe 20 minutes today. So, Mark, how you doing? How are the Dodgers doing? How are the Pirates doing?
Oh, well, the show that's sweeping the country on Fridays. I missed you last week. Glad we're back, man. I'm telling you, man, this is an acquired taste, kind of like your first beer, swigging around like
Or your first
mouthwash,
woman.
spit
Or
it
your
out.
first woman.
You definitely get accustomed to this, man.
Yes, it is. Yeah, give me something on the Pirates. Then the Dodgers.
Well, the Pirates have been struggling. They went on the road, 1-5 through San Francisco and Oakland. Can't seem to beat the A's for in 2 years. I think they've lost 5 out of 6. Ups and downs. They're in last place in the Central. And they were like 11-5, and boy, the wheels have fallen off a little. But now they get the Rockies in Pittsburgh, followed by the Angels, and then the Cubs. So you got to get fat on these two teams coming in.
Last time I talked to you, you were yelling at me because I gave you a hard time, and you were like, they only lost their first series of the year. So now they're the Pirates again.
Well, they've lost 4 series, but the light at the end of the tunnel is the Dodgers have lost 4 series this year too, and the Dodgers could lose 5 because the Braves are coming in this weekend.
The Mets went in there and they beat them 2 out of 3. And you know what? It turns out the big Japanese pitcher is not on the Dodgers. He's on the Cubs.
Yeah, imagine that. He pitched against you guys the other day.
And he pitched a gem. We lost 1-0 on a play at the plate where I think they got the call right. Alonso came in. He slid head first, and his hand was over the plate. But don't slide head first. I'd fine my guys $1,000 every time they slid head first. I would, because you're going to get hurt, and you don't get there faster.
I heard Bill Murray took the 7 train in there to see the Cubs and Mets the other day too.
Bill Murray was on the side. Bill Murray's great. He's like a regular guy. Like, he was on the 7 train. He was hanging out with people. I wasn't. I was on the 7 train. I'm on the 7 train every day. Of course, the one day Bill Murray.
Dude, every time you look at Bill Murray, he looks like he's had a few beers to start the morning.
Yeah,
I don't think
wouldn't you? Hey, wouldn't you if you were Bill Murray?
Hey, listen. This guy doesn't put, milk in his Raisin Bran. This guy starts off with a couple Iron City beers, man, in that beer.
Hey, listen, I don't blame him. If I was Bill Murray, I'd be having a couple beers to start my day too. He's like a national treasure. Now, last night, let's get to the basketball. Last night, the Knicks, that was one hell of a series. That was as good a series as you're going to see, with the intensity, with the wildness of the games, with the entertainment, with Embiid. Embiid is just he's got a couple screws loose up there. Embiid, he does something stupid every game, and he's got a couple screws loose up there, and he's a great player, but he does something stupid every game. Last night, the Knicks finally outlasted him. Do you think, and I think the Knicks can beat Indiana. I think that the fact that Indiana beat Milwaukee is good for the Knicks. I think the Knicks could get themselves to the conference finals.
Are they trying to push these teams that have been, afterthoughts into the NBA supreme here?
They're trying to bring back the 90s.
We haven't seen Reggie Miller in Indiana and Mark Jackson in a long time. So now we get these guys because the Bucks didn't have nobody. They had to field a team, and I'm surprised they didn't put applications out there to draw some, D players into Milwaukee. But come on, Joel Embiid's a hell of a player. I like Joel. I take Joel Embiid over Jokic any day of the week.
First of all, that's such a bad state. That's not even true. You know that's not true. You would take Joel Embiid. You watched the whole series.
Hey, come on, man.
Jokic is the hands-down MVP.
Okay, put Jokic in the East, and we'll see what he does against the Miamis, the Clevelands, the Bostons, the Phillies, the Milwaukees every day.
He would win.
Who the hell is in the West that he's competing with? Towns in Minnesota? Phoenix has nobody.
It's the first time. We finally have
stiff.
No Durant, no LeBron, right, and no Curry anymore.
You got the big stiff that looks like one flew over this cuckoo's nest in Los Angeles with Davis. Who do they got in the West to compete with Jokic? Really? Come on.
Jokic is hands down the MVP, hands down back-to-back MVPs, the best player in the league. He's going to probably win the title again this year.
Right? You know what the West reminds me of, Bob? The West reminds me of, running rush shot every year, winning your division 13 out of 14. Boy, is that a familiar tune with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And then getting bounced in the playoffs every year. And what happened? That's the 2 words that they keep saying. What happened? Well, you're not that good. Your whole conference sucked.
Well, listen. We're gonna agree to disagree there, but I think when you say what are they doing trying to bring back the teams that didn't do anything, all they hear about on the internet, the NBA, is everybody saying, "Oh, the '90s. This isn't the '90s," so they're giving us Knicks Pacers again.
Yeah, and then the Knicks fans can't afford the tickets in Madison Square Garden,
No,
so they go to Philly.
four or
Kind of
five hundred
reminds me of
dollars.
Maple Leaf fans that can't afford the tickets in Toronto. They jump over to Buffalo.
Hey, it's $400-500 just to get it. They showed the ticket prices. It was like, $100 some
Who the
places.
hell is paying $500 to see
I'm not.
Josh Hart and that Haberstein or whatever, the guy from the Munsters, man?
Harden,
Who's
yeah,
paying
Hardenstein.
$500?
Hardenstein had a big game last night. And how about Maxey in game 5? I mean, Maxey, that shot he took from the logo to tie the game. Listen, games 5 and games 2 were just wild. Game 2 was basically a reincarnation of the Reggie Miller play from years ago.
Let me ask you, is Stephen A. Smith on that float yet?
Oh, I
Has
don't
he
know.
been on
I
your
don't like
float?
Stephen A. Smith. I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan. He's not. He's all right with basketball, but I don't want to hear anything for other sports than basketball from Stephen A. Smith. Like, don't talk to me about football. Don't talk to me. Talk to me about basketball. You're a basketball guy. You're good with basketball. Stick to basketball.
Exactly. He's a one-trick pony. Stay with your sport. Leave everything else alone. You
So
don't
now-
know anything.
So now you would been telling me for months, right? Have you been telling me for months that Toronto or you like Edmonton better? Because Toronto last night.
Hey, come on, man. I've been on the Leafs wagon. I know
You're
things
on the
play
Leafs.
threes. The Lakers can't beat Denver. The Kings can't beat Edmonton. But Game 7 in Beantown, man, watch out. Here come the Leafs. And they're doing it without Austin Matthews.
And what's the Leafs Bruins series without a game 7, right? And the Leafs somehow find a way to lose these games all the time. Last night they won. They had Nylander got 2 goals. It was basically a 2-0 final. Did you see the Bruins scored with 0.1 second left? They scored with 1/10 of a second left.
Shutout, man. But you know
blew
what?
the shutout. Probably changed it. It changed the line too because it was a goal and a half. Probably.
Hey, the Bruins don't look good. This series should have been over. Toronto should have put up 6 goals the other game.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know which way to go on this one. It's gonna be a classic game. I mean, Game 7, and the Leafs fans. I almost feel like they deserve it. You gotta
see
feel
the women. Hey, come on! Do you see the women out there, man, in the outside watching the game? The Leafs. I mean, the fans of the Leafs and the women out there much better looking than the Boston women.
Well,
I'm not into them corn-fed women that sit around the pasta places in Beantown.
It's Game 6 in the playoffs, and Mark's out there looking at the women outside.
Yeah. Hey, I love it, man. I got the Leafs, man, and then the Leafs are going to give Florida a run for their money.
The Leafs can beat Florida, and I think as far as the Rangers go, we got the Rangers now. They had easy work of the Caps, right? The Caps didn't belong there. That was easy. That was easy work. 4-game sweep. The Rangers look like they're playing like they did in the regular season. Now this is going to be their toughest their toughest opponent. I think Carolina is better. I said Carolina was better than them in the season, but I think the Rangers are better now.
You know I love you, but I've been saying this for a long time, and I'll continue to harp this thing down till the Roosters come home. Ranger fans keep telling me what they're going to do. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And then when they get eliminated, they're just like the Cowboys and Dodgers. I hear nothing but crickets in the background.
Listen, we have the second. The problem with that, the thing that worries me is the Rangers have a great power play and penalty kill. Carolina might be the only one that's better. And the 5-on-5, the Rangers have struggled at times this season. And also Gensel could be a difference maker. And the Rangers wanted Gensel, and Carolina got Gensel. And now this series worries me. This series where I think it's going 7. I think the Rangers have the home ice, give them a slight edge maybe in Game 7. I don't know. It's gonna be a good series. And right here,
the
we're
Rangers
rocking.
remind me of having a 6'8" offensive tackle that weighs about 500 pounds, and he can't move to his left or right pretty quick. And the Rangers have big guys. They just don't have the speed to keep up with Carolina.
Listen, Panarin, they have excellent skill players. They got Panarin, they got Zibanejad, they got Kreider.
Let me break down last year what the Devils did to you. Speed killed you.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, they're a better team than last year. Last year was that was a learning thing. They got the coach fired. You can't win 2 games. And look at this other series. Look at this Vegas Dallas series, because that's a wild series. You had Vegas go in there, win games 1 and 2 in Dallas, and then the home team has won 1 game in this.
I told you from the get-go, whoever comes out of that series will get to the cup.
Oh, they get
whoever comes out. Yeah,
they're beating the hell out of each other.
Well, they're going to be battle tested coming out, and they're going to roll. The interesting one in the West is Colorado. Colorado just steamrolled Winnipeg.
I know.
Winnipeg was getting excited there, and everybody was talking about, here come the Jets. It's the shades of Morris Lukowich, and all of a sudden, wow, what happened to this team?
Winnipeg's another wild place though, with these whiteouts that they have. You see these games, these whiteouts, and it's a small place. It's almost like, it reminds me of like the Nassau Coliseum, but it's raucous, and you got girls wearing white wedding dresses as the whiteout. It's crazy there. But this Dallas series, Dallas lose the first 2 at home, then go into Vegas, win 2, win game 5 at home, and now it's back to Vegas, game 6. I think Dallas beats them tonight. I think Dallas is the better team.
Yeah, Dallas is more physical. Winnipeg, getting back to Winnipeg, man, oh man. I mean, when you look at that would be the last city I'd play if I was a hockey player.
In Winnipeg?
I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. So, but Vegas is loaded too. Vegas, they brought back everybody from their Stanley Cup. They've added some key components there. It's just a matchup right off of the first round. This should have been a Western Conference final. So.
Well, it's like the Knicks. The Knicks should have been but that was played like an Eastern Conference final. Now the skill, the quality of basketball wasn't great. They were turning it. That game, a couple of the games were just sloppy games. Especially
hey, listen,
game 5.
I gotta tell you something. I ran into Mark Jackson. He lives not too far from me. He was in a Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and I said, "Man, if you can hit some shots like John Starks, Pat Riley would have won something."
You didn't say that to him. That's an old say. That's a St. John's guy right there, Mark Jackson. That's a St. John's and a Knicks guy for us.
Yeah.
And he can't get a job. He can't get a job now. He got let go from ESPN. You know what it is? He says he's very ultra religious, which is fine, but there's some things you just can't say on the air. And say in public, and he does, and he says it, and he'll go say something about gay marriage, or he'll say something about race, or he'll say something about religion that kind of offends maybe some other religions. You want to believe that, fine, but don't say it with a mic in your face. And now he's paying for it.
Yeah.
Now he's in Dunkin' Donuts. Are you sure he wasn't working in Dunkin' Donuts? Was he behind the counter?
Hey, it's like me ripping the Dodgers. I have no intentions of working for those clowns. I
spoke with your buddy Kip Gross this week.
Oh yeah,
Kip's great. Yeah, I had to make a retraction. I said on air that he did not get a World Series ring. So I put it on social media, and he came right into slid right into my DMs, and he's like, "Listen, I got a World Series ring." And I'm like, listen, what about Mark Mancini? I'm like, I know Mark. All right. But he's going to come on the show. He's going to come on my show. And I think I'm going to try and get all 3 of us. I think it's going to be me, you, and him. I think we're going to have him one of these.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. Oh, he seems like a great guy. He's like, listen, I won 3 titles. It sounds like he was a big deal over in Japan.
Oh yeah.
That's where he had his big career. Like I
always feel he ages great too. He kind of ages like Jim Palmer. Which is great.
Which is just the worst. For like not only was he excellent at athletics, a major league ball player, went to another country, won 3 championships, but also now he's like in his 50s or 60s, and he looks fantastic, better than both of us.
He does. We get these callers that come in on us.
I listened to your show last week. You guys were good last week.
Yeah, there was one guy coming in from Silver Lake telling us about his Dodgers, and I said, dude, you shouldn't call us when you have a few beers and you're at happy hour, man.
I heard that. What's the name of that show? Give the people the name of that show.
Hey, the Gross Misconduct Podcast.
Gross Misconduct. Listen to it. It's funny. They're 2 funny guys, and I'm going to have them both on. I'm going to have all 3 of us on together. His name is Mark Mancini. It's the Mark Mancini Report. Mark, we love you. We'll talk to you next week.
I love you, man. Hey, we're picking up steam. I'll leave you with this. So every January I throw the months in the hat, and I draw 1 month. June is supposed to be the lucky month of the year, baby.
June 6th, halfway home. The halfway mark. We're at halftime. Listen, we'll pick it up in the second half.
I love you. I don't know if our wives love the show, man. They think we're crazy, but
they're right. They're right. Yeah. I had my neurologist say I'm running on 3 cylinders, not 4. I told them, why am I paying you all this money? My wife could have told you that for free.
Yeah. I told somebody, don't focus on a weakness. We focus on a strength.
Mark, stop checking out the women in the hockey games, and your wife will be a lot happier.
I love you, brother. I'll see you next week.
Later, buddy.